Well, it's a breezy day here in northern Arizona. Got the ponderosa pines and gamble oaks just swaying in the breeze. But I wanted to give you an update on my mountain bike from the Mormon Lake section of the Arizona Trail. Last time you saw it, it had an Alfine 8-speed internal gear hub as well as Surly Rabbit Hole 26-inch rims. Now, I was you may recall from my previous video, I was a little underwhelmed by the rabbit holes on single track, and a couple things were kind of wearing out on my bike, including the fork was getting a little rusty and wobbly and stuff. So thankfully I found a Trek 6000 in the trash from about 2010, I think, and this bike is a 2013 Trek 4300. So I got these rims and I pulled them off the other bike. This whole front wheel actually came off the other bike, and I put those on. I also, after struggling with Alfine maintenance for forever, you know, that every time I'd put the wheel back on after changing a tire or something, the thing would say it's in tune, and then it would eat itself from the inside out. So instead of getting it warrantied again, I got some store credit, and I worked at the local bike shop to get a Shimano SLX 1x11 drivetrain. Pretty happy with this. I think I got a pretty good deal on it because of the credit, and ended up building the rear wheel myself, so I saved a little, well, and I set the whole thing up, so I saved about 150 bucks, I think, over what I would have spent otherwise. But yeah, I wanted to update on how this feels and the differences I've noticed. Of course, everyone's going to say, yeah, of course it's going to be better than an Alfine 8, but there are some interesting points that I'd like to bring up and just kind of go over my first impressions. I've only ridden this about 5 miles, I think, right now. Finished it last night, so kind of new, but that makes it better to feel the differences. The first difference I noticed was that with this, it is a 42 tooth chain cog on the inside, and then a 11 tooth on the outside. So when you do shift from in between these larger cogs, it takes a while, because that's a big cog to go around. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a delay when you're upshifting or downshifting in the lowest few gears, which compared to the Alfine of course shifts immediately because it's an internal gear hub, and so that's one major difference. Is I kind of have to get used to the shifting taking a little bit longer instead of being instantaneous. The other thing is that I noticed with my shifter here, I don't know if I can focus on that, but this one is able to shift down 3 gears in one stroke of the lever. So actually the Alfine was only able to do one at a time, which of course the gear steps were bigger, but I think this is overall a lot better, and I'm pretty happy with that. So it's easier to roll up to a kind of steep ascent and just click down 3 at a time. Although again, you still have to be pedaling. It still does take time for the chain to wind around that or wind around the cassette. But yeah, so I got the dart fork on here from the 6000 as well, and I think they're about 18 or 19 millimeter wide rims on the 26-inch, and I gotta say the tires do round out a bit better. They have a more of a crown, and so that was one of the issues I had with the rabbit holes, is that when you're going in this kind of flowy single track, you get leaned over a little bit, and if the tire isn't crowned out enough, if the tire is too flat of a cross section, you actually end up rolling on the ribs on the corners instead of on the main tread. So I'm a lot happier with the more normal rim setup here, and corners better. The fork has a little more adjustment than my stock fork, so I'm pretty happy with that. Even though it's a little bit older, it's still an upgrade, and it still rides pretty well. But yeah, that's about it. I got it, put an Avid BB5 on the rear just because I had it laying around, and now I can throw it on a hub again, and yeah, just got it put together last night, so I don't even have the little cable crimps on it, unfortunately. I couldn't find them, so it's a kind of new experience here, and going out with this nice SLX 1x11. And I gotta say, if you have a chance to get out to the Arizona Trail, this Mormon Lake and Anderson Mesa section is pretty sweet. It is about half flowy, smooth single track, and the other half is just ridiculous rock gardens that kind of hurt. So it's a give and take, but it's a pretty cool place, and I will leave you with a parting remark. If you are going around and mountain biking, or if you're hiking or whatever it is, learn to identify your local invasive species. Right here we have mullein. I'm not sure if we have any on the camera right now, but I've been pulling out a few mullins here, and it's always a good little conservation effort, especially if you're out doing trail work. It's a great way to improve your trails and improve your environment. So I bid you adieu from this installment, and pretty happy with the 11 speed so far. Until later.